Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the first episode of the Leadership for the Now show. I'm so delighted to join you today, and someone that joins me, it's a very special guest today. We have Liz Ryder, the Global Head of Leadership and Culture at Volvo Cars. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Absolutely, pleasure in mine. And so, when I had in mind this show, and we wanted to look at what would be the best guest that we can get on the list, like your name came to mind, and you and I had some interaction. But you are in a position where you are very well placed to have access to some conversations and some tables that many people do not have, and I don't have. So tell us, what do you see are the conversational leadership, in today's world?
Huh. So leadership is a crucial topic right now, I think, on the minds of many CEOs, because we see a change in leadership. I mean, leadership has to change. We can no longer have that a traditional leader, the hero, the command and control, the tell it all leader, the know it all leader. That's gone. That doesn't work anymore. You could question whether it ever did, but that isn't something that we need for the future. We are moving at speed. The world isn't going to slow down any second now. So we need a different type of leadership, because the leadership that we've had in the past will just give us what we've always had if we don't change it. So we really need a leadership that really empowers our people and really brings out the best in every single person. So it's a real shift away from the power to empowering. And it really is about the people. I was talking to one of our leaders yesterday who was telling me, he said, Liz, I've learned that it is about people, people, and people. So yeah, it really is about how can we coach and facilitate and really put our people first. So that's how I see the movement in leadership. That's really on the agenda. And of course, that requires behavior and mindset shifts across any organization.
Wow, that's amazing. So what would be then, because what I heard there is empowering people. I
Yeah.
heard being able to coach and to, support people. So what would be the, if we would be able to kind of set the agenda for the leaders for 2022, what would be the top three skills that you would feel, well, these are the must have in 2022. What should leaders focus on developing in 2022 to be able to lead in today's world, and also but in the future of work, right?
Mhm. Yeah, well, I think the pandemic has helped us to look at leadership in a different perspective. I think we now recognise the value of empathy, and to be able to understand other people. So I think it's really crucial that leaders have that empathy, particularly as workloads potentially increase, potentially as we move at speed. There is a danger that people could burn out, and we really would not want that. So that human-centric leader who can lead with empathy and look out for their people, and have that compassion. So to really be able to spend that time with their people, to just check in with them, ensure that they're okay. Um, yeah, to really be people focused, people centric. So that empathy, that compassion, and to me, it's much more about the emotional intelligence than it is about the IQ. We're moving more. I mean, we're going to have automation, we're going to have robots, we're going to have AI who can look after the AI. Sorry, the intelligence side of things. When it comes to the people skills, it's people, it's the humans. When it comes to the creativity, it's down to humans. So yeah, empathy, compassion, EQ over IQ.
Wow, thank you. And I think what I hear also from the people that I work with and from the leaders that I work with. These also are the skills that come the hardest, right, to people and to leaders, especially in an organization like yours, which, well, you build cars, right? So there's a lot of technical challenges in that, and you need great engineers.
Mhm.
And I know I have a background in engineering, and I worked for Volvo for 4 years, and I know that for engineers, soft skills are not actually their strengths, right?
Mhm.
So I'm also hearing when speaking with leaders that this would come kind of the hardest for them. So the question would be like, how would do you have a tip or something that someone could just take and integrate in their agenda to be more empathic and show more compassion with their teams?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think when it comes to being more compassionate, you ask people the question, how are you doing today? It's a very simple question, but you don't just ask it and wait for the, yeah, I'm fine. You then use a follow-up question. So I often see that, the how are you doing? Yeah, I'm okay. Oh, that's good then. Or even worse, oh, I'm not doing very well today, and no follow-up. So really spend a little bit more time with that person. It doesn't have to be long. It can be for just 5 minutes to really find out how are they really? How are they doing today? Oh yeah, the workload's a bit heavy. Oh, what can I do to support you? Really check in with people. Yeah, that would be one of the things. And to your point about the, um, I think sometimes what we do in organisations is we we promote people based on their technical excellence. They've performed really well in whatever it is that they do, their technical specialty, and then they get into leadership positions, and then maybe we don't help them in those leadership positions. We don't see leadership as a profession. I mean, as you said, in engineering, you have your education and you keep developing. But what happens when it comes to leadership? We need to work at our leadership. We need to keep developing our leadership all the time. I say it's like a practice. It's a bit like golf. I don't know if you play golf, but you can read the book, you can have the coaching, you can go out and try, but you have to keep practicing, and you get there in the end. And not everybody can be a leader. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point, because I totally believe that we can develop everyone, anybody and everyone. But actually, there are some people that maybe it's just not right for them. So why sort of force them into these leadership positions? Because it's seen as the only way to go. It's the only way to climb the career ladder. So we need to be better at, really recognizing different career paths. Particularly as the careers change, they will no longer be linear. You'll no longer have the sort of the 30-40 year career. There'll be
Yeah.
lots of different careers that you have over a lifetime. So much better at not the going up the ladder. It's moving around, moving to different assignments.
Yeah, thank you. That makes it very, very clear. And I also experienced what you said. Like, I've been in teams where we had the best technical person being promoted to be a leader,
Yeah.
and then everyone lost because they were not a great leader, and the team lost to one of their technical best persons, right?
Mhm.
And so that's why I'm also very big supporter of assessment tools to be able to gauge, like, is this person, how would they lead, right? And we have also found that at different stages of an organization, we need different type of leadership.
Mhm.
So when we need maybe a more hands-on and more directive leadership at the start of a new organization or a change journey. But then when the team is well oiled and work well together, maybe we need more of a laid back or participative kind of leadership. So
Mhm.
I think you're absolutely right that the soft skills, um, those are essentials for leaders. The challenge that I see with leaders is that because they are there at the top, they don't have a boss to create for them a career, not a career path, but a training plan. For example, I know when we were in school, we had we had a curriculum that we had to go through, right? To go for the next class, you need to, pass all of these different disciplines. Then when I joined my first job, I had my manager had the onboarding plan for me. Then when I was a manager, then I created those plans for my team. But I see that there's a challenge for leaders that there is no one else there to create a training plan for them, right? And include those empathy, right? And compassion and soft skills in there. What's your view on that?
Yeah, no, but I think it's interesting because a lot of companies now will have reverse mentoring, so I think that's great to bring in a often younger person. I had one example of another company that I was talking to who said, just to see their CEO walking around with the phone in their hand saying, "What are you doing with your phone?" And the CEO said, "I'm playing Pokemon Go. My mentor has told me that this is what I need to do to sort of to understand what it's like to be 22." So I think those sort of activities, that reverse mentoring, are certainly really important. We have a global graduate program, and that's we have mentoring within that, and we say that's very much two-way mentoring because we need to learn, us that have maybe a bit more experience from other people that have a different experience. So I think that's another one. And I know that some organisations have shadow boards where they'll bring in other younger people often to sit on the boards with them to challenge. Those sort of activities. And there's another organisation that I did some work with where they bring in global leaders who are under 35 to challenge executives, to really sit and have the dialogue and challenge the thinking. So those are some initiatives, and I've focused there on youth, which is just one area because I'm very, very onto that we need to work with all the generations in the workforce. Whether you're just starting out as a graduate, or whether you're in a career change, or whether you've been in an organization for a long time, we really need to work with all generations here to bring out the best in our organizations.
Wow, great. I mean, those are amazing initiatives. And I think what I'm hearing is what all of these initiatives have in common is they have a leadership that has the right mindset, right? That
Mm,
welcome those kind of activities.
yeah.
And I think that's where I'm connecting now the dots. What you just said in the beginning, we need a mindset shift, right?
Yes.
For people to be able to welcome these kind of activities. And now I see, okay, with the right mindset, you absolutely can have those.
Mm,
And so, all right, I think we have a really nice conversation going on, and I'm gonna go to a little bit of a more personal question. Like, I'm curious to know what was the best leadership advice that you ever got, and how did that help you?
mm. Yeah, I mean, the best, I think that's difficult because there's lots that I just sort of accumulate over the years. But one thing I think that stands out is that I'm really an idea person. And there was something about the pandemic that made my brain go into overdrive. So I was just like waking up in the middle of the night with ideas and more ideas and more ideas. And one colleague said to me, you're the sort of person who has billions of ideas. It's so energizing. And then one colleague told me, actually, it's a bit of a constraint because then I'm the one coming up with all the ideas, and I'm not allowing that opportunity for other people to come up with the ideas. So, they don't need to come up with the ideas. So that was good, because it's something that I saw as a positive, and that I need to hang back a little bit here. So I really have to write them down instead. I can't. I have to have an outlook for them. So, but I have to tame them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So to
Well,
give other people
that's
that
very,
opportunity.
yes. Sorry. That's very interesting. And what comes to mind, it's exactly one of the challenges when it comes to delegating and involving the team into creative initiatives, is if the leader does that type of activity like over and over again, no one gets the chance to learn that. Like if because I coach leaders, and they say, well, I don't feel comfortable to delegate this task.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not, I'm not comfortable to do that. To I don't trust yet my team to do that at the same level that I do it.
Mm.
And the challenge is that they never give the chance to someone on the team
No,
to try to do it, right? So
yeah.
then it's in the same direction as you were mentioning. Like if you had all the ideas, then your team couldn't come with ideas. So
Mm.
that's really good. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that nugget.
Or not having the time. I mean, that's the other one, isn't it? So we don't have time to delegate. It's going to take too long, rather than seeing it as a benefit, a longer term benefit to coach that person. Um, or as you say, for that person to come up with a new way of working. And that's really what we need when we're bringing out the best in our workforce. Is we need new ideas and new ways of working. If it's always the leader saying, this is the way we're going, this is the direction, this is what we're doing, then it is very, very constraining. And of course, leaders cannot know all the answers. I mean, there's just too much going on. I mean, if the half life of a degree is 5 years, if we're lucky, then it's impossible to have all the answers. So that kind of leadership that we're used to, I think, historically, has gone. It is totally gone, and we need to get the answers from both internally and externally. Much more partnership, much more collaboration. Yeah.
Yeah. I see that too with the organization that I work with, and you're absolutely right. Time is a challenge, or at least is perceived to be a challenge. And
Mm.
when we're running our lives and businesses and roles with the speed that we're doing it today, we feel
Mm.
that there is no time for us to stop and look at the things that we could delegate. And delegation takes a lot more energy on the front end, right? But has a lot of benefits on the back end.
Exactly.
So the
Exactly.
challenge is to see the benefits there and
Mm.
understanding why we're spending this time here. So,
Mm.
so that's great.
Yeah, and
Um,
I also think to inspire. I mean, we all know that purpose has become, such a northern star. And of course, at Volvo Cars, we have our purpose, which is freedom to move in a personal, sustainable, and safe way. And of course, that is our why. That is why we exist. And whatever happens, I mean, you said we're a manufacturer of cars, but we see ourselves moving to a mobility provider, whatever that means in the future. And then our purpose remains the same. It's the why we are here. So we're doing a lot towards becoming carbon neutral, circular economy. We obviously do a lot on safety. I mean,
mhm.
safety is so important to us. It's we live and breathe safety. And of course, personal. I mean, we recently launched the family bond, which is parental leave for everyone around the world. So in Sweden, that's pretty common, as you know,
Yeah.
that you get great parental leave rights. But of course, we wanted to open that up to our colleagues across the globe, and that's human centricity for us. That is helping equality for us, saying whoever you are in the workforce, male or female, you have the right to take time off with your newborn. So purpose becomes really important, and to engage our people through our purpose-based leadership is really important to us, because we know when people are truly engaged and inspired, we know that we get so much more from our people. And you know it yourself, don't you? When you're in flow, when you're
Absolutely.
truly passionate about something, the day just disappears. And we've run quite a few workshops on, saying to people, why living in Gothenburg on a dark, as it is right now,
Mhm.
cold morning when it's often raining, do you get up and come to work? What is your inner motivation? And I think that's really important. And when you ask people the why do you come to Volvo Cars, I mean, some of the stories, I can't tell you them because I'll just start crying. And that's really touching the heart then. When you can touch the heart, you really are making a difference. So inspire our people, inspire them. And I don't know, I'm sure you're aware of the research from Bain and Company. When
Mhm.
we inspire our people, productivity is 225%. So command and control, you get people to do just what they want to do. But if you inspire them, they're going to do so much more. So we
Absolutely.
really need to tap into that inner motivation, because 40,000 people, it's a lot of people to inspire.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
imagine what we can do.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I think you're absolutely right. We call that tapping into the discretionary goodwill of the person rather than
Exactly.
relying on contractual obligations, because there is so much more you can control with a contract, right?
Yeah.
But you will never gonna get what you could get from someone's potential if you only rely on contracts. So I know you guys are doing an amazing job. I've been working for the company for 4 years, so I can speak firsthand, right? And I also see, like, I see Alexandra here on the show, which is one of your of your people. So I know you're doing the great job. I think, tell me a little bit more about, because I'm very curious. One challenge that I see in organizations like the size of yours is probably a bigger challenge than any small organization that I usually work with. How do you connect the vision that you just shared with me with people's kind of personal goals and motivations? Because I think that's where the challenge lies, right? Because when I work with executives and with leaders, they are really, really good at casting vision, right?
Mm.
But I think people sitting in that audience, they ask themselves, well, where am I, right? What's the impact that I'm making, right? So do you have any thoughts on how you guys are doing that, and also maybe how any other ideas that you have from other people that are doing a great job on connecting the big vision with people motivations and people personal goals?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think it's always obvious. If you're sitting sort of filling in a spreadsheet, what impact does that have on the greater good, the bigger picture? So it's really important to make the connections on a regular basis, to remind people of what we're doing, to tell the stories. We had a campaign around safety where we had lots of actually survivors of very bad car crashes telling their story. And that really brings it to life, that what we're doing out there, to to help with safety, help people to yeah be in a better place. So we certainly have those stories. We know with the when we launched the family bond, I mean, LinkedIn went crazy, and we had so many people telling their story of spending time with their family, and so many pictures of families on LinkedIn. So a professional site, and suddenly people are posting about how wonderful this is. So for us, it is very much connecting to those stories, storytelling. What is it that we're doing? And of course, it has to be over and over again, because it's so easy to forget and to move on and to just think, oh my gosh, I've just been in meetings all day today and done my emails, and wow, how is that connected to the greater good and what we're doing? So yeah, reminders, connection to the why. Why are we doing this? What's the purpose?
All right, on. And I remember that campaign with those interviews. Like I could not even watch those videos because I would imagine what those people went through, and then it's almost like giving them another life.
Yeah.
Like how no, I
Yeah.
have goosebumps right now. So how inspiring is that, right? How motivating is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the XC60 Moments advert, and you have to just YouTube that and watch it, because I can't talk about that one. That makes me so emotional, and I've seen it so many times. But yeah, it's what happens when the car stops itself and saves a child's life. I mean, big stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, you have a great purpose in the world, like you and the whole company, and I really believe in that mobility and freedom that you are building.
Yeah.
I
But
have one
it
last.
is. I'm just thinking it. I just had an email this week, and quite often, people will just say in that email, I was in a Volvo. It saved my life when I was younger. I had a TED Talk speaker who came to me and said, look, I'm happy to just charge you expenses because, literally Volvo saved my life. Those that makes you want to get up on a dark, rainy morning and come to work for sure. Really
Absolutely.
does. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No,
Go on.
no worries. I was almost done, and we're almost at the top of the time that we planned for today. I just wanted to mention, something, an internal communication campaign that it was going on at Volvo. So I joined Volvo in 2015, and I was a project leader. And there was a time when the S90 was launched. So that the first, not the first, the first car was the XC90, was from the SPA platform, and then we had the S90. And I remember in all our restaurants across kind of all sites, there were these napkins with the shape, right? And it was the shape of the car from the side, and no one knew how it looked like, but it was like the future, it's great, or the future is inspired. I don't remember what was there, but for me it felt, well, I'm part of this future, I'm building this car, right? So it was really inspiring. So that was something that stuck to me, and I had one of those napkins at home. I don't know where it is, but I put it well because I wanted to save it. It was really, really, it spoke to me.
Yeah. Oh, that was super cool. Really good. So yeah. If I have anything to say, go out, inspire people, and inspiration comes in many different ways. You can inspire in a one-to-one, you can inspire on a big stage. It's really tapping into that inner motivation and care about our people. I mean, we spend so long at work. So really check in with people. And, especially now, I think, it's busy for a lot of people as we're sort of moving into holiday season very, very soon. Just check in. How are you? Are you okay? Can I do anything to support you?
Yeah. And Alexandra had a question, but I think you answered it perfectly, because her question was like, how do we inspire people in your daily work? And I think you just mentioned that. And what I hear from what you said is like, be authentic, be you, and be there for people.
Absolutely. Speak from the heart. And I always do that. I just speak from my heart. That's who I am. So I'm not reading from any script So inspire, focus on the positive, focus on what people are doing well. Don't focus on all the problems. Focus on, yay, what are we doing well? Because we're doing great stuff.
All right, Don. Thank you so much for being on today. I want to close this show with, a last question. So, what does it mean leadership for the now for you? What comes to mind? So, this is the name of the show. I want to be actual, to be something that happens today. So, just very briefly on that, and we're gonna close.
Leadership is like swimming. You have to get into the water and do it. So
Right
just
on.
do it.
Right on. Thank you so much. It's been lovely having you today. It was a great start for our show. And if people have more questions or something like that, they found you on LinkedIn, right? So I see you're quite active.
Absolutely. I'm crazy on LinkedIn. I'm always posting, so you'll easily find me there.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for today. And for everyone watching, I look forward to see you next week with another guest on our Leadership for the Now show. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.